All right, we're live, man.
Nice.
All right, perfect. So yeah, basically today I just wanted to talk to you about a couple things in regards to hip hop you don't stop and Prevention NDG altogether. I mean, I've been talking to a few people, a lot of local writers. I've been talking to, let's see, I've been talking with a couple of people in the organization. Basically, the feature story that I'm trying to write is about how Prevention NDG, like, how they have a positive influence on the community, how they're giving back, and how they're trying to raise awareness within this culture. You know, to try and show people that it's a legitimate art form, that like we're trying to put this to the forefront. You know, that, so that people understand that this isn't just, you know, some kind of street art, that this isn't something that's, you know, non-existent, that it's something that has a lot of value to it. You know, that a lot of people appreciate this and they use it as like a form of expression, if you will. You know, so the first question that I'm gonna ask you is basically, how did you get involved with Prevention NDG?
Yeah. On my part, it was a long time ago, and in 2005. So I'm working there since 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was part back in the days of hip hop crew, well, rap crew, but hip hop crew, DJs, MCs, B-boys, all that, called Atach Tatuq.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you heard about that. So anyways, I was part of that well-known band, and we were about to drop our second album, and I met in the metro that guy called Fred from back in the days, Cops Crew. I don't know if you know Cops Crew. Anyways, and I was like, "What's up, man? What's up?" So he was like, "I'm going to work. You know, I just got a grant from CNPC, Centre National de Prévention du Crime, to put
Mm-hmm.
together a hip hop festival in CDN NDG as a crime prevention program." I was like, "Oh, well, this seems really interesting. Well, cool, man. Have a nice day, and let's keep in touch." And I continue my way, and I was like, "Oh, je finis mon chômage bientôt. Maybe it would be a nice opportunity for me." I was part of that hip hop community since at that time, couple of years, like maybe 7 or 8 years, and so I found his contact. I called Fred, and I was like, "Yo, do you need someone to help you with this project?" And he was, "Yeah, sure, man. Send me your CV, and I'm gonna check this out." I sent the CV, and 1 week after, he called me back and, "Well, do you want to be part of that project?" I was like, "Yeah, man."
Yeah, for sure.
At that time, I thought it would be a project for 1 or 2 years maximum. That kind of project sometimes it's hard to find the money for doing it again and again.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, like, here we are 11 years after. So for the first year, I coordinated it, that festival, and since this year, I'm responsible for the communication aspect. So by the way, if you're interested, the new coordinator is called Emilio Orellana Cote.
Okay.
He's a pretty cool guy. Maybe if you want to have access to his opinion or views about the subject, he would be open to it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's it. I come from the hip hop scene background from Montreal as an MC first, and a host for different events like b-boy events and all that. So it was natural for me to be a part of that urban arts festival.
Yeah, exactly,
You know?
exactly, for sure. So yeah, I mean, that sums it up pretty well, man. What I'm trying to get to is like basically your motive. You know, like what are you trying to achieve with the Hip Hop You Don't Stop festival? What are you trying to achieve through Prevention NDG?
Well, first, Prevention NDG is really based in the sense that we have 24 or 25 different programs, from eco-quartier to street workers to tandem and all that. And urban arts is part of it. We have all the graffiti aspect with Zek One, who's our muralist and working also with the A-Shop crew. So he's in Prevention, he's doing mural in all NDG and CDN, and giving workshop also related to the graffiti aspect. The other aspect is really the Urban Arts Festival, Hip Hop You Don't Stop, which is basically a program related to urban arts to help kids who want to express themselves through arts, urban arts, to do it. So basically what we're doing is a bridge with those kids and their animators who are giving activities related to urban arts through the year, to the whole year.
Yeah, the workshops. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Workshops and courses, dance courses. Some programs are recording album in Maison des Jeunes Studio, like No Bad Sound with Dr. Matt and all that. So we work with all those organizations to put together a festival representing the youth talent from CDN NDG, but also, so this is the community aspect of it, but also it's not only a community festival, it's also a cultural event in the sense that we are approaching also established artists from the local scene, graffiti writers, dancers, MCs, singers, and all that. Plus even international well-known artists too, to give example to the youth of what can be accomplished when you put your energy into something constructive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what can come out of it, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So this is basically the point of this festival, is to celebrate the urban arts and the local talent, and to unify people through this this culture that we call hip hop, but even like de manière plus large, even reggae, R&B, and all that. So so it's basically it. Like a lot of people are coming from different areas of NDG and Côte des Neiges, have the reflex to stay in the part of the neighborhood, the part qu'ils fréquentent, their community organization and all that. So we push them to meet other youth that, for example, a b-boy is like, oh, I'm from CDN. Well, I didn't know, but there's b-boys in NDG too doing the same thing, you know? So sharing their passion for arts and urban arts.
100%. When b-boying is also like not to call it a dying art, but it's on its way out for a lot of people. It's not really a recognized art. So for you guys to bring it to the forefront is really like, is doing a lot for the culture in that sense.
Yeah, and I think like what you just mentioned changed a bit in the last maybe 5 years with all those big TV programs related to hip hop, dance, and all that. Mm-hmm. So like, because b-boying at the beginning of the 2000s, that's true what you're just saying, but like since maybe 5 years, it's going back a bit. And yeah, for sure, on our part, or one of our goal is to promote this urban arts culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man.
b-boying is part of this.
To add to that question is basically like what you guys are doing is like very influential, right? So how do you think your specific influence has had an impact on NDG?
Oh, it's a good question. Precisely, I cannot answer your question. Vaguely, I would say that I wish at least that we can help those kids by giving them tools and giving them the opportunity to give shows in front of bigger crowds, because normally, like I said, they already frequent different community organizations, but those are small entities, so they're doing shows and all that during the year, but it's usually small shows. With that festival, putting all those people together, it gives them the opportunity to give a show in front of more people and to create also contacts and réseau with people and connecting with people who have the same kind of passions. You know what I'm saying? Interest.
Yeah, spread the love for sure, man. I feel like. What is your opinion on graffiti public awareness, and how do you think it helps?
Public awareness, what do you mean exactly?
Comme la sensibilisation de graffiti.
Okay. Well, it's a pretty complicated question for me. I think it's another aspect of our festival also to demystify what is hip hop culture and the prejudices in front of it. For me, graffiti is pretty vague. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like there's many ways of seeing it, many ways of living it. So for me, one of our goals is to show to the normal citizen who are not related to hip hop culture and graffiti that it's a way of expression at first, and it can be also a mean to beautification of a sector. An example I can give you is the big mural we organized with the guys from Mashup this year in the festival. I don't know if you saw it, the hands, the signs and all that.
Yeah, I live down the street, so I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
cool.
right on Mason down there. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you live near there, you probably saw like the fact that this wall was ugly as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people are, yeah, exactly. A lot of people are passing by to the Melrose Tunnel every days, and they saw that building that was not disaffected, but you know, like it wasn't clean. It was like, plus for some people related also with the tunnel, there was a feeling of insecurity related to all that, and like it changed the whole the paysage totally.
Interesting. Yeah, so a sense of danger that was brought on by the graffiti and by like the dirtiness of the neighborhood.
Not only the graffiti, I think it's because I think it's different aspect of it, like tags and all that, but the wall was falling down a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And now you guys cleaned it up and it looks beautiful. And
yeah, exactly. Because for me, personally, like we live in a city, and basically there's like beautiful building in the city, but there's also ugly buildings and concrete and all that, gray everywhere. When we have the opportunity to create something with all those colors and all that, and even the theme of the hands expressing like community and people getting together and all that, I think it creates a positive energy for the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do for sure, man, and I appreciate that a lot. It looks really good down there, and just basically like, what does that do? I mean, you kind of explained it. It's like, you know, it helps people feel more comfortable with it, but some people are not sure about mural art, and they're still kind of retracted from that whole scene. So I guess with Hip Hop You Don't Stop, it's really bringing it to the public eye. But on the other aspect, a lot of local writers, especially a few that I interviewed, are a little worried about the fact of their safety within, you know, creating the arts and stuff like that. Because I mean, as you know, it's a really anonymous art form, right? Like a lot of people keep it underground and they don't publicly announce, hey, this is what I write. You know, it's more like it's a very subjective thing to people. So what a lot of people are worried about is like when they're like, I know a few artists that painted at the festival this year, and basically from what they're telling me is like they're waiting till it gets dark to finish their outline so the cops don't see what they write, you know? But like from your perspective, how is that an issue? How is that a danger?
I get it. I get the point. For me, I think our program we're not about repression at all at Prevention NDG. And I think it's the main point of that program, is that for us, the repression is not a good way to respond to certain social problems related to vandalism and all that. We think instead of judging those kids who are deciding to express themselves through tagging and what some people are considering vandalism, and I get the point also from the owners, like basically if you have a home and you're being tagged everywhere on your garage or whatever and you just painted it, I get the point of the owner being pissed off about that. But anyway, like in front of those kids who are expressing themselves through this way of seeing graffiti, instead of judging them, we are more about inviting them to explore different aspects of graffiti. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, I
to
do.
also give them the opportunity to speak together and exchange about the society at large, and the way we can implicate ourselves in that society through a constructive way to doing it. You know what I'm saying?
So showing them the benefits of legal graffiti, basically.
No, it's cutting. I'm not. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
even.
just basically, you're trying to show them the benefits of legalized graffiti, of muralism and stuff like that, and where people can.
Yeah, instead of judging them, like, because I
Exactly.
think being part of a city, the illegal graffiti will always exist.
Yeah.
It's part of the city environment, but this is not the only aspect that exists. For example, when you are 16 years old, it can be a way to express yourself. But when you're more than 18 years old, you are taking risk more and more
Yeah.
in, like, related to the fact that's illegal. So you can
Illegal
be
consequences.
arrested, you
Exactly.
can, like, problem with the justice and all that. So at one point, when you want to have kids and all that, and doing a job related to your art, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? So that's related to this
Yeah,
also.
it gives them the opportunity to show what they can do,
At least to
basically.
explore, maybe.
Yeah. Even if it's not for them at the point, they can at least try it out. The same thing with
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some
it's
kids
like
are.
a workshop in that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Maybe some kids are gonna be like, well, this is not for me the way I'm seeing graffiti. Well, okay, it's your point of view. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. At
Yeah,
least I think that the importance also is to help everybody and the owners and the graffiti writers to think in a more collective way. So, okay, this is my reality. What is the reality for the other people, and how can we live together in a respectful way? Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, do it. It's harmonizing the two
Yeah,
different.
exactly. This is it's a big goal. It's not simple, but
No.
for me, there's, like, even like the owners that are really refracted about the whole graffiti, whatever it is. We One of our goals is to open their mind too, you know.
Mhm.
So in the two different perspectives, our goal is to help, like, exchange and being more constructive and open to different ways of seeing things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, awesome, man. I appreciate that. So talking more about music now, on the music level, what did it mean for you to bring one of the most substantial, impactful artists? I mean, it's his brother still, but what did it mean for you to bring Illa J to the heart of NDG, Girard Park, this year?
Super cool, man. Like, we did it also last year. Invited him to an indoor event, so that's why this year we invited him again, sharing his way of seeing music and express himself through hip hop music and rap in a park outside for free. That was pretty cool, and I think he's a great artist, and for real related to an amazing artist in the hip hop culture that changed many ways of seeing beats and
Production.
drums, also pattern, rhythmic patterns, and all that. He and yeah, he gave something to hip hop culture for sure, and he's part of Montreal right now. Like, I don't know if you knew about it, but he lives in a kind of way in Montreal. He's from Detroit, but he's in Montreal since a couple of years, and so that was natural to invite him. And he's a pretty cool guy and human being also, and it gives again the opportunity to share. to share to people a way of living hip hop culture. Because you know what you asked me about graffiti and the prejudices related to the negative aspect of it, or what people see as negative,
Yeah.
Is part of our goals too, related also to rap music. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people that don't know that culture are like, yo, rap music, it's related to a non-respectful way of seeing women, non-respectful way to see law representatives and all that. Well, hip-hop culture is, for me, related to all the different views we have in this world. At basically, like it's related to the society we're living it. So there's many ways of understanding that culture, that music, that pictorial art and all that. So hip hop culture is not independent from the society it lives in.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Part of it. So hip hop culture is not this or this or this. Hip hop culture is a blend of many ways of seeing things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I do for sure.
Yeah, basically for me, I just did my master also related to social medias and hip hop artists now, and I had showed this exercise the opportunity to think about all that and how we define rap music, how we define graffiti. Well, it's something that always moving and changing and transforming and part of eclectic ways of living it.
For example, an evolving subculture for sure.
Writers that are not related to rap music at all. They're punk rockers, you know, since the 80s back then, you know.
Yeah.
So like it's eclectic, and that's what I'm talking when I'm saying one of the goal we have at Prevention, through this urban arts project, is to help people to open their mind in front of different ways of seeing things and just exchange ideas and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually at the Hip Hop You Don't Stop festival this year. I hung around pretty much all day. I was bouncing around.
Park?
Yeah, exactly. At G Park up the street.
Nice.
Yeah, and after interviewing a couple people, I got the opportunity to pull Illa J aside and interview him, which was like a huge deal for me. You know, as a J Dilla fan, like that's something I didn't really know too much about Illa J before the event. So for me, that brought me like to another level where I'm happy that I showed up, you know, and I got the experience and I learned more about Illa J, because I've always been a Dilla fan. But beyond
you're young, so that's cool, man. It's cool.
22,
to hear.
You know, so
Yeah,
for me,
22 years old, like being a fan of J Dilla. Do you have a big brother or something, or?
My brother's 26, but I mean, he's not really into hip hop. That's more on me. But I've grown up listening to hip hop my whole life, right? So for me specifically, that event was life changing, I guess you could say, in a way.
Okay.
And it definitely enlightened me when I asked him how hip hop influenced his life specifically, and he couldn't really answer me. You know, he paused and he said, "That's a really good question, but all I can say is hip hop saved my life." How do you feel about that? How do you feel about him coming and expressing that to the youth?
Well, I think it probably express the feeling of many peoples there, specifically peoples who are who were born in parts of cities that are maybe more poor and all that, and they are related to environments where there's a lot of violence, crimes and all that. And so what is the possibility you have to grow? You can put your energy into something less constructive, being part of a street gang or whatever, but you can also put your energy in something like we find constructive, like art. And this is basically the goal of this. The basic role of this project is to help kids who want to express themselves,
Mhm.
to give them tools to express themselves in a constructive way.
Yeah.
So instead of like, I don't know what to do, let's go chilling in a park, and like, it's cool to chill in a park, but on pet des tables, and it's come, okay, well, cool, but after that, what is staying, you know?
Exactly.
So if you can, for me, as personally, as an artist, the feeling I get when I create a sound, like when I create a song, that I'm down with the result. I'm like, yo, this is working. Like the hook is there. Like I'm feeling it. This feeling is, wow. It's totally amazing. And I wish everyone can at least live this feeling once in their life, and it changes your life, I think. So related to graffiti, dance, and whatever, when you transform yourself and evaluate through arts, and you have that access to like feeling that, okay, I think I'm starting to understand my way of seeing that art, and I'm feeling so hard that it creates something really dope.
Mhm.
For me, it's an amazing feeling, and then I think this is the constructive way of seeing art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I mean, within the same sort of category, but a little bit more in reflection of recent events. It's a little bit more morbid. It's a little bit more sad. Um, I'm not sure. Well, first off, I guess I just ask you, is there other organizations that you're involved with? I know that the trucks for Hip Hop You Don't Stop come from Stone Bakery and the West Haven Community Center and stuff like that. So in light of recent events where a teenager that was involved with the West Haven Community Center was recently murdered, accused of being murdered, basically. How do you think the Prevention NDG's involvement could have, I'm not going to say prevent something like that, because no one can ever prevent something like that, but just how do you think you guys can help in, just stopping violence and just pulling kids out of that aspect?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I personally know Ziploc for working with him through this festival, because he's part of West Haven organization, community organization, since a lot of years right now. And he put together that DJ workshop and all that, and that tiny studio. And he really giving positive energy as we seeing it at Hip Hop You Don't Stop in Prevention. Through urban arts? It's a really good question. For me, I think this is the same thing than vandalism related to graffiti or violence. Like, it's part of the city. Like, this is the sad aspect of it. Malheureusement, I don't think it's gonna disappear one day. It's part of our reality as a city citizen, but we don't have necessarily to accept this collectively, and we have at least to ask us and to reflect about all that. What created that? What can we do to put some love in all that? You know what I'm saying? And it's so complex, but I think Prevention NDG is trying to give a positive energy in the community through all the programs we have, and also to the urban arts aspect of the organization. As an example, I'm touching wood right now, but I don't know if that expression exists in English.
Yeah.
I wish it's gonna continue like the 11 first editions we put together with the community for Hip Hop You Don't Stop. We never had violence.
It always seems to be a peaceful, welcoming environment, and that's
but it can change like that. Like in a way that one person would be something negative, and it creates something, and blah. You know what happened to the son of Ziplocs there? Of Stephens, it's so sad, and it happened probably like boom, something
Exactly.
The
And I mean,
misunderstanding, I think, souvent it's related to a miscommunication and misunderstanding instead of of talking together. Like, what's up? What's happening? What is your point of view? Like, we're in the emotional center of ourselves and like reacting instead of acting. And
especially in a very passionate culture, you know, like, I mean, especially you don't really hear too much beef in regards to music, but when it comes to the kids that are growing up listening to a lot of hip hop and rap and are involved in the graffiti culture, and I don't even want to bring b-boying into this, but basically with all the beef and all the politics in graffiti and hip hop, how do you think kids are being affected by what the general public would see as negative influence of hip hop?
I think it's an ongoing process. There's people who want to put positive energy and love through this movement, and there's people who are sad or like pissed off about whatever reason.
And they want to express themselves, and they're loud. But I mean, it's just beyond that. It's what is it doing to the audience, you know?
But for me, I think related to the dark side. if I'm taking the Star Wars way to express it, I think it's really related to some emotional way of living things without thinking too much. You know, like I have the right to react that way, and you know, you're reacting. You're not acting so much, and so that's pretty much it. I think we have to collectively speak about all that, and that violence issue is part of the society. It's like I said before, it's not only part of hip hop, because hip hop is the image of the society it comes from.
Yeah.
So hip hop, like violence is part of hip hop, and violence is part of society too. So those issues have to be you have to reflect about all that. And I think one way to propose alternatives is to give tools to kids to express themselves, and even like darker feelings. Express yourself through music, through dance, through, like, for an example, a pretty clear example of this is crump dance. You know, crump is really powerful and really aggressive, but like the result is not negative at all.
No, it's beautiful for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You put your raw energy into something constructive. So I think it's the basic goal of it.
So I guess that's where the physical aspect of dance can replace the physical aspect of violence.
Oh yeah, for real, for real, for sure. And even rap music, when you can rap like and you know, you're feeling your anger can go through a piece of art.
Yeah, and then
even
it comes out instead of staying repressed.
Because if you keep it for yourself, because people are saying no, you don't have right to be pissed off and all that, it's not true. You have the right to be pissed off, because there's really there's injustices and all that, you know, it exists, and it's everywhere. So you have to be, in a way, you have to be pissed off sometime. But what can you do with that feeling to help things instead of like transform them darker? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the question.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know you guys are actively involved with workshops in, well, especially A-Shop and the guys like that. They're involved with the St. Luke High School, I believe.
Yeah, well, Guillaume Zekwan is part of a shop crew, but is working at Prevention also as muralist. And he's the one who's giving the workshops at St. Luc with the kids there.
Yeah, I was going to talk to him, but he's in Miami with Basil right now, right?
So, yeah, that's true. It's crazy.
There's no time, but I mean, my story is going to be published next week, so it's not a big deal. I'm getting a lot of information from you guys, and I appreciate it. I just have a couple more questions for you. Basically, what other organizations are you involved in, or do you want to be involved in the future?
Personally or prevention?
No, you specifically. I know I've done all my research on Prevention at this point. I just want to know
Cool.
where you plan on taking your urban arts aspect.
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, on my side, I just, like I said, just finished my master a couple of months ago, the final version of it, so it's finished. And what I basically want to do is teach. I would like to teach communication and in CGIPs and university. And if I can one day give course related to culture, I mean arts, and the impact of technology and the use of technology that is concrete in our world now, I would really appreciate that. Like, I think there's a lot of things to think about related to all that, and just work with young adults. For me, it's really motivating. Like, for me, 18 years old, 19, 20, those are really nice ages, because you are not a teenager anymore, and you're just starting to be an adult, so you're reflecting a lot on your society, on your environment and all that, and you're open to have conversation with people at large. So it's really, really motivating for me. So I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm continuing to work at Prevention right now, responsible of communication at large, not only for the festival, but for the organization also.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna continue all that, and like artistically talking, I want to release some music projects soon, maybe solo project. That's something I would like to do. I have 3 kids right now, so it's
all in due time, man. You got to fit it in the schedule.
Exactly. So, but I would like to do this for real.
Yeah, I mean, considering the people you want to teach are going to be the future, you know what I mean? These are the people that are the next professionals, they're the young professionals, if you will. For example, a friend of mine took a class at Concordia in the art of cool, basically, which I'm not sure who taught him, but at Concordia, it was basically, the class was about the origins and the expenditure of hip hop to where it is now, like
I think it's Narcy from back in the days, Nomadic Massive. He's a solo artist right now, and he gave that course. Yeah, it's really interesting, man.
Interesting. What's his name again? Sorry.
Narcy.
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 Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
The narcissist.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, yeah, no, I'm happy to hear that you want to teach. That's really interesting for me, actually. I didn't actually have any idea of that, but that's really cool, considering, I mean, you have your own kids now, you've been involved in youth, and now you want to not necessarily give back, but kind of push forward.
Yeah, continue. Yeah. I think life is continuing through the next generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just exchanging with those new generations, for me, is the way to live. Because if you're not open to the new generation, you're becoming a not good adult, I think. You're like, kids.
Kids these days. That exact expression, kids these days.
Exactly, man. You have to understand the next generation and what are the quels sont les enjeux en lien avec leur génération, what is their point of views and all that. And basically, I want to finish with that, but like, for me, because when I started to be part of that hip hop culture from Montreal, it was in the late 90s, and if I'm comparing this period with now, it's amazing the way that it transformed itself. Like, it's crazy. Like, the beat makers, the rappers, the dancers, the graffiti is crazy right now, like, technically, and with the results of it, it's more and more professional. We can export ourselves outside in other countries, because it's really tight. like there's more and more artists that are doing like amazing arts. Like seriously, it's really motivating for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man, but just to end on a note is just what's next for the Hip Hop You Don't Stop Festival?
Well, first, I'm really happy that I found someone who can continue and take the torch and continue that project, because seriously, it's, as a coordinator for the 10 first edition, it's a lot of work. It's a really small festival if you compare it to other ones, but it's
Under pressure and so on.
yeah, but it's enough big to, like, it's a lot of things and a lot of energy you have to put in it to put it together. And when I found Emilio Orellana Cote, I was like really happy to work with him first, but also to see his motivation and the fact that he's able to do something really nice with that festival, plus his vision of the hip-hop culture as a tool to help society to evaluate in a positive way. He's a really nice guy, and I think he can continue for the 10 maybe next year. I don't know what he's gonna do, but and I'm happy also that we are next year at the 12th edition. Like I said, when we started that program, in my head it would maybe go to 2-3 years maximum. You know
and look where it is now, you know.
Yeah, and now I'm like, yo, maybe it's gonna continue for a long time. And I think it's really cool to have a cultural event in NDG and Côte des Neiges. And for me, it is a really unique cultural event in the sense that it's created a bridge between the community aspect of society, but the professional cultural aspect also, and it blended together first. And also it's I think the only festival that is really putting to, like, upfront all the different elements of urban arts, in the sense that, for example, Under Pressure is, for me, the more professional hip-hop festival, but at the basics, it's a graffiti event. And now it became, like, with the years, like, representing all the aspects, all the aspects of hip-hop culture. But the Hip Hop You Don't Stop was created that way at the basics, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I'm really happy that it existed and it was born in the west side of Montreal. And 100%. What I would like for the next editions is to have the chance to convince the people from outside of NDG in Montreal to come in the west side, because
to bring the city collectively together.
Yeah, because this is a hard aspect of it. Like, the people from NDG and Côte des Neiges are staying a lot in NDG and Côte des Neiges and going downtown sometimes. But if not, they're not going in Plateau or like Rosemont or Hochelaga. You know what I'm saying? They're staying. And this is the same thing for the other citizen of the city. So, like, attract those people from downtown Plateau or whatever, Ansic, and bring them in a park in the west sector of the city would be really nice for me.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. But moreover, thank you for organizing the Hip Hop You Don't Stop event, man. I've been going for the past 6 years, whatever. Nice. You know, I'm always around. And moreover, it's nice to see that this festival is still going to the point where, I mean, like, artists like Illa J just coming to Montreal and then all of a sudden being a part of it. You know, that's the evolution of hip hop itself. Yeah. And I mean, he's even playing at our gang tonight, I think. So, I mean, I might be there interviewing him as well. But beyond that, just thank you very much for your time, man. And I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man. For me, it was, like, as a hip hop artist and being part of that hip hop culture, it was important for me to propose a festival, and that's why it's a blend of community festival and cultural professional event. Is the importance for me was to propose activities and shows that are putting together, like, more amateur artists, but also like professional artists that are doing the hip hop arts dans les règles de l'art, si on veut, that are understanding the roots of hip hop, and that hip hop heads would go to those events and be like, yo, this is dope, man. You know what I'm saying?
So giving the little guy the ability to not match up, but to learn from the big guy, you know, so kind of like mixing the level.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. All right. So I think I'm going to let you go on that note, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And yeah, straight up, man. I appreciate it.
I take care.
Yeah, I'll be in touch and I'll send you an email when the story is published.
Yeah, please, bro.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Ciao.